Hey YouTube, eBay Top Dog here. In today's video, we're going to be talking about eBay item not received policy and eBay item not received claims. So, as a seller, it is your responsibility to get the item to the buyer. If it's a high dollar ticket item, I would highly recommend going with Fedex. I find them to be the most reliable service, UPS behind them, and post office last. Anytime you sell something on eBay, Shopify, Amazon, etc., you want to make sure you have a tracking number. USPS with first class and priority mail calls it a delivery confirmation number. This is actually not true tracking in the sense that the package is not accounted for all along the way. With FedEx, every sorting facility the package goes through, every driver who touches the package, that package is going to get a scan. The way that USPS delivery confirmation works, the only scan required is upon delivery. Any scans when the package is taken in or along the way are what are called courtesy scans. This means they're not required to happen, but they occasionally do if the post office isn't too busy. This means you can receive an eBay package without ever seeing a single scan on it except for the delivery scan. Now, what happens if a package goes missing during transit? Part of the reason sellers sell on eBay and part of the reason sellers pay high fees to sell on eBay is for the eBay buyer and seller buyer protection. A lot of people get mad at eBay. They say the fees suck. They say the buyers always win. This is not necessarily always the case. If you ship something to an eBay customer and tracking shows delivered, even if the buyer says that the item wasn't on their porch, wasn't there when they got there, etc., you will typically win that case. If the item is over $750, you are required to have a signature. Personally speaking, on anything over $250, I add a signature. I do that for two reasons. That used to be the eBay policy, and also without a signature, you have less of a foot to stand on when you're trying to say that an item was received by a buyer. So you pick an arbitrary amount of what the most you're willing to lose is. If you're not willing to lose more than $50, put a signature on anything above $50. If you're not willing to lose anything above $100, do $100. I think $250 is a good amount. That way the buyer actually signs for the item. Some buyers will get upset that if they're not home, they have to go to the post office and pick up the package. If somebody gets upset with you, simply explain to them that you have had instances where packages go missing off the porch and you would rather have them have a slight inconvenience and get the package than one of you guys being out hundreds of dollars. So what to do if a buyer claims an item isn't received and the tracking shows it's delivered? Stick to your guns and don't pay out, don't issue a refund. Let the case go to eBay. I typically recommend explaining to the buyer that, look, you're not trying to pass the buck, you're not trying to be difficult. This is why you pay the high selling fees on eBay that you do, because eBay has buyer and seller protection. So what will typically happen in these cases is eBay will reach out to you and ask you for tracking info. You'll provide the tracking info, which will show the item was delivered, and eBay will side with you. Assuming the buyer does not have a history of claiming items were not received, if they have a history that looks like they're a scammer, they may not get paid out. But assuming somebody doesn't have a history of doing this, eBay and or PayPal will cover their loss because they're not at fault. The item was swiped off their porch supposedly. You're also not at fault. You shipped in a timely manner. You shipped it to their address. You have tracking info showing it was delivered, so you shouldn't be at fault either. So in these cases, this is what you're paying the fees for when you sell on eBay. eBay buyer/seller protection kicks in, and neither you or the seller are at a loss. Hopefully that helps you out. If you have any questions about this policy, drop a comment in the comment section below.